I like it spooky.
Hey everybody, welcome to the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast from the beautiful stage at the Orpheum Theater.
Welcome.
Welcome. I got Ross, I got Aaron with me.
Good morning.
The staff of the Orpheum. There's a lot of other people that do a lot of amazing work here. The Orpheum just turned
107 years old. She looks good.
Yeah, she does. Better than me. Looks better than I do. And I'm not nearly.
A lot of us. We're not all adorned with,
No.
crystals and such. So, yeah, she looks good.
I'm sure if we spent $5 million on you, you'd look great.
You might need 10 for me.
It's okay. We'll fundraise.
So we're doing an interview here because we are going to show some movies. We're working with Severin Films, the I Like It Spooky Horror podcast, the Orpheum Theater, and the Dr. Valerie Flacco and her husband, Jamie Nesrode, and their family to sponsor a double feature of movies.
Yep.
From New Zealand. Mm-hmm. We're going to show Next to Kin, and the way I understand Next to Kin, a brief synopsis, a daughter goes to an old folks home, or a home that her mother was in, reads a diary, and weird stuff starts to happen. Ooh. So an haunted old folks home.
Can't get any better than that.
I was going to say.
Yeah, but it's from New Zealand, so there's going to be blood and gore and all that kind of stuff.
Good stuff.
And then the other movie, I would gather we're going to run it as Strange Behavior because in New Zealand, it's known as Dead Kids. That doesn't really look good on a marquee.
Right.
It would catch people's attention.
Yeah. People would be like, Dead Kids?
They would definitely know what was happening.
Yeah.
Strange Behavior has a little bit more mystery to it.
Yeah,
though,
yeah.
So perhaps we'll go that route.
This movie is important because it's one of the earliest slasher horror movies in New Zealand history. It's from 1981. It's kind of caught a cult following, especially in Galesburg and in New Zealand. But it is set in the small Midwestern town, Galesburg, Illinois. And if you don't believe me, pull up the trailer and watch it. Within the first 15 seconds, they say the small town of Galesburg, Illinois, where nothing ever happens.
Do you think they just, got out of encyclopedia or? So
the way I understand it, I have a friend, Ian Higby, who loves this movie. There used to only be one copy in Galesburg of this movie. I don't know if it was at Titletown or what, where it was. May have been at Family Video. But it got this mystique because it was set in Galesburg. And he has done some research, and the director, the writer of the script, was from this area and either lived in Galesburg or came to Galesburg a lot and just adored this city. And everything about it, had fond memories of it. And he had wrote 3 stories that were going to be made into movies. He only made 2. I don't know if he got sick or what happened, budget-wise. I don't think Strange Behavior was like this huge hit. And that was another thing I was looking at. I don't even know if it's been shown here in Galesburg.
I hadn't heard of it until you brought it to my attention.
At the time, in 81, would have been the Orpheum, downtown, showing movies, right?
Yeah.
And the West Cinema.
Yep, Twin West, yep.
That would have been it.
Downtown, yeah, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
So,
by then, the mall, and I think also the theater up on Henderson Street, where the Goodwill is. Those are the other 2, I think. And the Grove Street Theater.
Okay. And none of those...
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah,
it's hard to say, you know?
I don't know that it's ever been shown. I know it's been shown because a group of Knox kids made a Strange Behavior 2. So it's got a cult following, and you could watch that on YouTube. But I don't believe it's ever been shown in Galesburg. And I wouldn't imagine Next to Kin's been shown. They're from New Zealand. And if you look up Dead Kids or Strange Behavior, you're going to stumble upon, there's a Filipino movie that's known as Dead Kids. There's a lot of other movies. There's a movie 2018 that's known as Dead Kids. You're going to stumble a lot of other stuff. And maybe a little backstory on how I stumbled on it. I had a job where I was working by myself. I listened to a lot of podcasts. I came across this movie. I was like, oh, it looks interesting. Poster for it is somebody's face with their eye wide open and a needle is going towards their eye, so it kind of catches you there.
Yeah.
I watched it. Set in Galesburg? What? Because it looks nothing like Galesburg. It was filmed in New Zealand. It's got an all-American cast. Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is like the one person that you see that you're like, oh, I know her. Michael Murphy, Louise Fletcher, Dan Soar, Fiona Lewis. I mean, you hear their names, it doesn't register a lot, but you see them and you're like, that's an American actor. And they're all American actors. So I gather at the time it was cheaper, like Lord of the Rings, to fly them to New Zealand and film this movie there and put it out. So it's an all-American cast. Watch for Steak and Shake. That's all I can say.
Oh,
when you see the Steak and Shake, you're like, that doesn't look like Steak and Shake. You know, it's like,
Can't wait.
Yeah. But, the synopsis of this movie, neither of you have seen either of these movies?
No.
Not yet.
So the synopsis of this movie is the sheriff of Galesburg, Illinois, his son, has a friend that goes to Galesburg University, which I gather would be like Knox or Lombard College, you know, and he wants to make some extra money. So his friend's like, well, they're, doing experiments at the college, $50 a day. So some weird stuff starts happening and people start going missing. And it's all tied into the college. So I'm really hoping we get a big Knox group come in, because I think that'd be super fun. I had fun with it, but I mean, it's even more fun when you're from this area and you can watch it. And say, oh, that's cool. It's there's a movie shot, or not shot, it wasn't shot here, but it's set here. It's kind of just a love letter to the area in Galesburg, even if it's not filmed here, and even if there's dead bodies piling up. It's
gotta
just,
get that press.
Yeah. So that's the double feature we're doing, and that'll be October 14th. Doors will open at 6, movie at 7. Have some friends here from Severin Films, bootleg as F. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say. Toys will be here. I Like a Spooky Horror podcast will be here. We're hoping to have some city council members, people come, and we're working on some other events to get lined up. We have a paint night at Art Defined. That's September 30th at 4 o'clock. And last time I looked, there was 5 people going, and they only hold 20 spots. So that's fun. Have you seen that picture yet? Yeah. It's pretty much Orpheum with some pumpkins in front of it. It's fall time, and it's almost like the spirits of patrons past coming out of the roof to surround the moon and make a picture.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, and there's a bloody version and a non-bloody version. I asked for that. She's like, I don't know, I don't think I'll add the blood for my people. And then she did it. She's like, oh yeah, it looks good. I'll leave it as
it's artistic bloody. Yeah.
So we have that. We're working with some other stuff.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun event. It's going to be a nice little kind of nucleus of the October celebration of the spooky season.
Yeah, so it'll be fun. And it's free. We have some sponsors. Yes. So it's free. Anybody can come. I don't know that it's kid-friendly, but teenager-friendly. And, bring everybody you want.
Yeah.
Have some concessions.
Please.
Hang out. Maybe shop a little bit. Visit with the people at the Orpheum. Check out some movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then the other announcement we have, and this will be posted on the Orpheum social media, we have the After Dark Fright Film Fest.
You got it, yeah. The Orpheum After Dark is coming.
That's a lot. What could we come up with that? Oh, never mind. We'll just keep it what it is. But
Triple F, the Fright Film Fest?
Yeah.
On Friday.
That's our. We've been having the Fright Film Fest for about 4 years now, I want to say. Something like that. It started right before the pandemic, I think. And that is our like I said, our holiday horror film series that runs every Friday in October. It starts on October the 6th this year. So that's the first Friday, and they start at 8 p.m., so right around when it gets dark. And it's free movies. And it's, as you mentioned before, it's sponsored by Dr. Valerie Flacco and family, as well as with support from the I Like It Spooky podcast, which we're so grateful for. And we've got the titles all picked out and ready to go. So the first one, I'll go through them all. We've got The Mummy from 1932, Suspiria, the Italian film, from 1977, An American Werewolf in London, 1981, and we're rounding it out with Candyman from 1992. And all of those are, like I said, Friday nights, 8 p.m., free admission, and that all kind of, like I said, the special event that we're having with Strange Behavior and Next of Kin is kind of like thrown into the middle of that is kind of, a little treat and to, kind of garner interest in everything that we're doing that month. It all will end with the Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is kind of its standalone event that we have every year to celebrate the Halloween holiday.
And that's on the 28th.
28th is Rocky Horror, and that is, we do a midnight showing. We do the costume contest. We have drink specials. We have, prizes for the winners of the contest, and the movie starts promptly at midnight. So
way past my bedtime.
Yeah,
but I did it last year. I stayed for the whole movie.
You were a contest judge last year.
Yeah, when I was in high school, somebody told me when I first heard of it, they said, "Oh yeah, it's something you got to do at least once." And Aaron and I have done it, like 11 or 12 times now, done a full-on, midnight Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
So we've probably done it more than anybody, but it's a great tradition, because there aren't a whole lot of other places around here that do that.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it would be a Rocky Horror desert if it weren't for us.
Yes, indeed. So we're really glad to do it. We have a lot of fun putting it together. We already had our preliminary meeting about it in the summertime, so we can be ready and route to go. So Rocky Horror on the 28th. But yeah, really excited about all of these films and the partnership with you guys to bring these new and interesting New Zealand films. Not new, but new to us.
New to you.
And it's so fun that one of them is centered around Galesburg. So I think the community will get a kick out of that.
So October 6th, The Mummy, 1932.
Mm-hmm.
That's kid-friendly. I mean, it's from the 1930s.
Yeah, I would say that.
Maybe
it would probably be the only one on the series.
10. Maybe if your kids are 10 or
after
up.
dark, we tend to try and appeal more to the adult crowd.
Suspiria on the 13th.
That one is one that I just could not help but put on the series. Have you seen it?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I really loved how artistically beautiful it was as a kind of pseudo slasher film, and how suspenseful it is, and I just think that it's so beautifully put together. And I always like trying to put something on the series that maybe people haven't heard of, or to try and get them in with the titles that they know and love, and then throw something in there to be like, come on and try this one out. So
yeah, and for your younger audience, because I know you pulling a lot of kids from Knox and Sandburg and younger viewers, think A24, but in Italy in the 70s. Because that's what you get. It looks beautiful. It's well acted. It's got a great story to it. And you get pulled in and you're like, I forgot this was a horror movie.
Yeah.
You're like, well, that's always what I kind of think of that era of film that was going on in the 70s in Italy. As is A24 before, it was cool.
Yeah.
And then October 20th, American Werewolf in London.
Yes. The last two on the series, I turned to my friend Brian for some who knows horror films very well. So yeah, American Werewolf in London on the 20th, and then Candyman on the 27th.
On the 27th.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Candyman. I shouldn't have seen it as a kid on television, but I did, and very fond of that movie.
You're not going to the bathroom after this and saying Candyman in the mirror
I might.
5 times. You might.
I might. I don't know.
Where's Roscoe?
I'm not afraid.
Where's that?
We're not in
I don't know.
Chicago. Candyman's
we're close enough.
way away.
We're really excited about the series. Hope people can come out for it. For those of you listening that aren't in our immediate area, it's a real easy drive in the Midwest, whether you're in Iowa, in the Quad City area, or somewhere in the Chicagoland area. It's a real easy drive or hop on the train to come to Galesburg, and we'd love to have you come and spend the weekend in Galesburg, and just don't sign up for any experiments at Galesburg University while you're here.
No, don't do that. Plenty of dining downtown.
Yes.
Plenty of places
Lots
to get
of fun
a
shopping.
cold beverage.
Yes.
Orpheum has concessions. You have candy and popcorn and bottled soda.
Yeah, and we have a lot of history in Galesburg too.
Yeah.
A lot of really rich history and a lot of landmarks that are fun to see. So hopefully people will come visit for the weekend.
Galesburg is the birthplace of the Ferris wheel
Yes.
and Carl Sandburg. And a movie called Strange Behavior.
That's right.
What else do you need to be known for? That's it. Yeah.
That's right.
I don't know that usually makes the list, but it's making this list.
We're putting it on the
We're-
little at the bottom right there.
It's like what we did last year when we showed The Sender, which was which is that psychological thriller horror movie that was almost the Orpheum's last movie. That one, I was hoping, I'm not sure it'll work, but I was hoping we could make that like a new Rocky Horror that people would come see The Sender every year and think of their own callback. We'll get there. We're going to build our movement.
That was a good movie. I had never seen it. I enjoyed it. I was like, this is kind of a psychological Nightmare on Elm Street.
It has a lot of those elements,
yeah.
And Jelko Ivanek is just a marvelous actor. You may remember him as Mason Verger's doctor in Hannibal, the 2002 Ridley Scott movie. Yeah, the spooky little doctor man, like, Jelko Ivanek. He's born for horror movies, but I think he was wasted on some TV show, like, he's on like Damages for a really long time. It's just some guy. He's he would be a great horror actor, though. I wish he did it more. But The Sender, maybe we'll show that again one day. We'll see.
That'd be fun. I'd come again. I enjoyed it.
It's fun, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
Yeah.
And, I mean, you can't beat seeing movies in this space, to be honest.
Yes,
I mean,
that's the best part.
Especially some of these horror films that, the place itself is so evocative of the drama and the intensity when it comes to, just like the gilded surroundings and the detail. And every once in a while, like when I'm watching something, I kind of separate myself for a moment and kind of look around and take it all in, and it's really a big cohesive experience seeing a film at the Orpheum Theater. So
and I think a lot of people forget that live in this area how I think it's been called the Jewel of Galesburg even.
All the time.
Like I was talking to a friend and I was talking about the podcast and some of the things I've got to do because of the podcast, and one of the things that always comes up is sitting on the stage at the Orpheum. And this stage has been graced by, I couldn't even imagine the people.
All the great vaudeville actors.
Yeah.
Anybody who toured between when we were built in 1916 and when they stopped doing regular vaudeville in about 1935. Anybody who was touring railroad vaudeville back then played on this stage. The Marx Brothers and Harry Houdini, Fanny Brice, George Burns, Jack Benny, Al Jolson, Blackstone the Magician. Any of those guys, if they were on the tours, they would have come through here, because Galesburg's railroad history tells us any of those tours coming from Chicago going west, could have had multiple opportunities to stop in Galesburg. And we had a lot of theaters once, but this is the only one left. And that we still have the original stage floor that they all performed on. It's a really beautiful place to come and then do something like watch a movie, because you kind of have that big history of everyone coming and sitting together and experiencing something together. And like what Aaron said about the experience of seeing a movie in here, what I think is the best is the way the shadows are so much deeper when it's just the movie screen lit up, and you're looking around and all the decorative plaster looks so much more stark. I feel like that kind of lends to the feeling of spookiness, that gets you in the mood for that kind of thing.
Well, I have a son that's 17, and we've spent plenty of day or evening up in the balcony where the fancy people used to sit. Eating popcorn and drinking a soda and just taking in a movie. And now I have a 5-year-old. She's 5 now. Yeah. She's grown up in the Orpheum.
Yeah, I love that.
And will hopefully continue to grow up here. And
love it when kids can come in here a lot.
Yeah, and
get used to it.
And someday I would imagine I won't be around anymore. And hopefully the Orpheum will. She
That's
can bring her
hope.
children here and be like, I used to come here with your grandpa.
Oh, yeah.
And I get kind of emotional about it, but this is, it's become a home to a lot of people. There's people I come and see every week during the film series. Hi, how you been? Since I didn't see you last during the week because of work or something, but it becomes a home. You come here for plays and the pageant and just all this stuff, and it's a thing a lot of people take for granted that we should.
Absolutely. And that's a huge part of our mission and why we do the work we do here and why we're passionate, our staff and our volunteers and our board, is we recognize the inherent human value of creating those memories with families, with friends, because as you were kind of alluding to, we don't take much with us when we go, but what we can leave is those impressions, and those are what carry on from family to family, from person to person, and if we can be a part of that here and facilitate that, then we're doing our job, and that's what we want to be able to do.
Well, where else can you go? And you can call, and you can get a tour, and you'll get to walk across this stage where George Burns performed, or Harry Houdini did. Harry Houdini did magic on this stage.
And right where we're sitting, in fact. He cut a hole in the floor here to do a little trick where he would he would make it look, supposedly, he would make it look like he ran straight through a solid brick wall. And it was a trick that he did a lot at that time, during the time he would have performed here around probably 1918. And he made it look like he would run right through it. And I won't tell you how. That's the magician's secret. But if you come down and get a tour here, we'll tell you how we think he did it, based on our evidence. But yeah, that's part of it. Is that you can walk into a place like this, and we kind of hope that the community and everyone who comes in here, kind of feels like they're a part of the ownership, so to speak. This place belongs to the community, and coming up here on the stage, I always say that's every Galesburger's right to come up and learn about Harry Houdini, having ran through a brick wall on their stage. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, if you come on down, we'll tell you all about it. It's fun.
Mr. Houdini took that secret to the grave.
Mm-hmm.
Or did he?
Yeah, right. He died on Halloween, I believe.
He did.
Yes.
You think he did?
Either he died or had a birthday. I can't remember which one it was. But I know that on Halloween there are certain circles of people that try and do a seance.
To bring Harry Houdini back?
Yeah.
Well, he's probably still around somewhere.
Floating around in the rafters, maybe.
Well, it's been a pleasure.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything else you guys want to cover? It's a bonus episode.
Oh, I love
bonuses. Because coming to the Orpheum is a bonus.
Absolutely, as it should be. No, I'll just cap off with what Ross kind of started to talk about, which was if you want a tour, we can do a tour for your family, your individual, for us. If you have a service organization or your staff, whatever. We love giving tours. Ross is a great tour guide. Depending on how much time you have in your schedule, we can make it 20-minute tour, we can make it a long form tour. So we can go into the nooks and crannies, or we can just kind of cover the basics and do that. So one thing that I definitely want to mention, and just to make sure that your listeners know, that please do follow us on all the things. We're on all the things. Look up Galesburg Orpheum. There's other Orpheums out there, so look for Galesburg Orpheum, and follow us on Facebook, TikToks, Instagram, all of that stuff, because we have events going on all the time. So we're capping off our Throwback Thursday free movies this week with Chicago. This will come out after that, but that will be done. But in September, we have a bunch of flight film movies, films centered around aviation, to kind of partner with the National Steerman Fly-In, which takes place in Galesburg. So there's that, and then we have our Fright films. We have our double feature, all sorts of stuff going on. So if you follow us, you'll be sure to see what we're doing, and we'd really appreciate the support.
You got anything, Ross?
Oh, no. Aaron covered it. I was like, go through the list. I'm like, yeah, that's everything we're doing.
Everything. Yeah.
We can announce anyway. So, yeah. And then, our last movie of the year, why not? We always have a showing of Polar Express, which is a ghost story, to be fair, so it's kind of spooky. But we usually, and I couldn't imagine we won't, show Polar Express this year.
We will.
Second Saturday in December, as part of the big Galesburg Express program downtown, so keep your ear to the ground about the Galesburg Express program, but whatever that entails, we will be showing Polar Express at 2 p.m. like as not. So
yes, indeed.
Come on by and see that last ghost story for the year before we.
And then we go into the ghosty season of Christmas.
Oh yes.
It's just ghosty seasons from October on, isn't it?
It's great. Yeah, we can find a way to ghost it all up.
That's a new horror adjacent movie I'd never thought of. Polar Express.
Really? I mean,
now it's on the list.
Yeah, Polar Express. It's true. But yes, thanks for.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Good
to chat.
Good to have
Thanks
you on
for
stage.
coming on the show, and thanks for allowing me to be a part of this amazing event. I mean, it's
Glad to have you.
Yeah.
it's going to be here before I know it, and then I'll be like, oh, what do I do now?
No doubt.
What am I going to do?
Time's a funny
Sit back
thing.
and have some popcorn. That's
Oh,
what you do.
that's what I'll do. Thanks again.
Yes, absolutely.
We're going
Thank
to
you.
throw it over to a bunch of spooky people that they've probably been in some haunted theaters in their time.
Ooh.
The podcast network, the PFPN. So let's hear from them.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
what's wrong with you, man? Show some fucking respect for the dead, will ya?